Today we're going to be going back and taking a look at the Renetti here in Season 4 of Modern Warfare Zombies, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, since testing this thing out, I gotta say this is probably one of the best, if not the best weapon that I've tried here in Season 4. While a lot of weapons have really suffered some pretty significant nerfs this season, especially ones that were pretty well loved by the community like the Swarms and the Stingers, this one still seems to be pretty damn OP. We are going to be using the conversion kit, which turns this pistol into like a little SMG pistol hybrid, and this thing is just absolutely crazy. Earlier, we're going to take a bunch of time and test this thing out in the red tier zone and do a bunch of HVTs and kill a bunch of mega abominations, but we're also going to go in and do the Season 2 Reloaded Dark Aether. With that, if you guys are into zombies content or anything Call of Duty, rock the hell out of that like button for me and subscribe to the channel. We just hit 19,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the crazy support. We're getting so much closer to that 20,000 subscriber goal, which does bring me to today's sponsor, which is all of you guys. All of your likes and shares and comments and everything really does help out the channel a lot, and if you guys want to go that little bit extra mile to really help me out and make sure that I can continue doing this every single day, got that YouTube join button that's right down below. So big shout out to all of my channel members. You guys are the absolute backbone of this channel. Be sure to hit all the buttons down below. I greatly do appreciate it, and on to the video. Now, from what I was seeing, I thought this thing actually suffered a pretty big nerf, but I did see a comment recently from a subscriber saying that he was still rocking the Renetti with a conversion kit and that it was handling absolutely everything with ease. It's been a minute since we tried this thing, so I figured we would come in here today and test it out, and oh my god guys, this thing is incredible. I'm sure as you guys could see, we ended up taking on that mega abomination first thing, and we had absolutely zero problems whatsoever. It actually deleted him faster than almost any gun in this game right now, and we are rocking Shatterblast, which is helping us out just a little bit, but most of it's being done by the gun itself. All of these tier 3 zombies stand absolutely no chance. I mean, just instantly deleting all of these guys, including the armored ones. Of course, I would advise you guys to aim for the head, but once you get dead shot, that's not really too much of a problem. The only downside to this weapon that I think it really has is that the ammo reserve is just a little bit low. You're going to be sitting on 600 rounds. If you got maga holding and you're constantly picking up ammo from the zombies that you kill, it's not too terrible. You can find yourself in instances where you run out of ammo here and there. When it comes to downsides with this thing, that's honestly really about it. I mean, I absolutely love this weapon. It is incredibly snappy. The movement is insane. I mean, you really don't need to be running with your fists out or anything. You can just run with this thing in your hands. That's actually a really big plus. You'd be surprised how many weapons get caught up in that big con for me right there, is that I have to run either with my fists out or with something else like the VR11 or have the Scorcher or something else like that. Being quick and snappy and the mobility is really good. That's just a huge plus for me. Ended up taking on a few HVTs in here, like we got 2 Disciples and I think a couple of Mega Abominations. The Disciples went down really fast, and the Mega Abominations went down surprisingly quick. The one that actually did put up a little bit of fight was the Mimic, and I think we would have been able to handle it a little bit better if we had either Brain Rot or Deadwire. We were still able to get the job done. It just took a little bit longer than I would have liked. Now, the best weapons to use here in Season 4 list will be coming out very soon. I'm probably going to wait for the Reloaded update just to see what they kind of tweak a little bit, because I don't want to put out the video and then have them like drastically change something. But as it's sitting right now, I do gotta say I am pretty confident that this weapon is either going to be sitting at number 1 or number 2. Tested out the majority of the SMGs this season. I've tested out the majority of the assault rifles, plus the pistols, and yet there is another little hidden gem there in the pistol category, and that is going to be with the F-Tac Siege. That's probably going to be another video that's coming up here either tomorrow or the next day. But in my opinion, this one definitely outdoes the F-Tac just by a bit. I mean, how fast it kills those mega abominations to me is just insane. We're able to take care of any HVT in the red tier zone completely solo really easily. Plus just sitting out there doing other contracts and stuff like the Outlast was just a breeze. Definitely an amazing gun to rock here in Season 4. Now I will say that having maga holding is definitely going to help you guys out with this thing a lot. I'm not saying that it's not going to be good without it, because it definitely will be, but if you do have that maga holding, it's just going to make it so much better. And like I often tell you guys, I would recommend either using an epic or a legendary ether tool on this thing. If you're running anything less than that, it probably will feel a little bit underwhelming. Honestly, that does go for most of the weapons in the game. It's not really a con I could knock on it too much. Now we are here inside of the Elder Season 2 Dark Aether, and I decided we're not going to bring in a jug or anything else to help us out with this thing, because I just wanted to see if this Renetti can take on this HVT Mega in here by itself, and what do you know, we actually didn't really have too much of a problem. The only little issue that I did run into is, like I told you guys earlier, we actually did run out of ammo, and I killed a bunch of zombies and they really didn't drop me any. Luckily, I did find one little patch of ammo that was just sitting there. It's just barely enough so we could get him down to like 1 HP, and then we finished him him off with an ether blade throw. Was actually genuinely really surprised on how well that this thing handled this HVT mega in here. Most weapons, even if they're doing really good inside of the red tier zone, once you come inside of the Elder Dark Aether and you try to take on this HVT mega abomination, usually they struggle just a little bit. Like 8 times out of 10, I usually find myself either setting up a sentry gun to kind of help me out a little bit, or even just dropping down a jug just to get the contract over with. This thing actually handled it really well and very fast. I think we got this Dark Aether run done in 7 minutes, which is pretty damn fast. I mean, I've gotten this particular Dark Aether done in under 5 minutes. I will completely openly admit that was back when this Dark Aether was actually way easier when it first launched, and it had like half of the amount of zombies in it. Still pretty fast for not even like trying to speedrun it and only really using the weapon, like not using any score streaks or anything. I was pretty happy with this loot because I'm finding some of those older acquisitions, not just the one from this Dark Aether. Like we found a dog bone out of this contract and then another Elder Sigil, so I'm definitely happy with that. We're gonna go over and start our Outlast contract, and you guys are gonna see where this thing shines even more. I mean, we had no problem just hanging out in here. These Elder Dark Aether zombies are a little bit stronger than the ones that you find in tier 3, and yet still absolutely no problem getting rid of these guys and just kind of hanging out in here. We did almost get forced out of the building like towards the end of the contract, but we were able to pull through. This is honestly probably going to be my go-to weapon for a little while. I think this is one of the best weapons I've used during this season. I know I've mentioned this in a few of my other videos, but this season just feels a little bit off for some reason. It feels like a lot of weapons really got nerfed and nothing really got buffed up to the point where it just feels absolutely amazing. It's been one of those seasons where it's been a little bit harder to actually pinpoint a actual meta. It's not like everything sucks. Like we do have some guns in the game that are really good, but that's just kind of it. Everything to me this season feels good. Nothing feels outstandingly great. Now these Renettis on the other hand, they might just be changing my mind a little bit. These things are just doing some nasty work here in Modern Warfare Zombies. And I know the big question in the room that a lot of people are probably going to be asking is, do you think this is better than the FJX? And without a doubt, I can say hands down, yes. Don't get me wrong, the FJX is still really good, probably still up there in like one of the top best weapons to use in the game still. I cannot be the only one that kind of feels like that thing actually suffered a nice little nerf this season. It does not feel the same as it used to. The proof just goes to show, we just did a video on it recently, the FJX does not kill those mega abominations as fast as it used to. Now the FJX does still handle everything nicely, but I do gotta say I think the Renetti outdoes it on just how quickly that it can get rid of a lot of these bosses and the HVTs and things like that. You do gotta weigh in the facts a little bit. Like with the FJX you do get a little over 1,000 rounds, and with the Renetti you only get 600, but you kind of gotta weigh in the pros and the cons. I think the Renetti's a little bit more powerful, but you got a little bit less ammo. Most of the time for me it's just not too difficult to pick up ammo from zombies that I'm killing, and I also know where all of the ammo refill stations are. My takeaway from this would be, if you want a little bit more ammo and you don't mind a little bit of the slightly longer time to kills, I would go with the FJX, but if you do want that little bit of a faster time to kill, and especially if you have a maga holding, man, go with the Renetti. Really don't think there's any reason not to. And if you guys haven't tried this weapon in a while, or if you even just haven't tried it at all yet, I mean, give it a shot. I think you guys will really like it. Toss up that loadout up on the screen for anybody that wants to check it out. Again, I greatly do appreciate everybody that took the time out to check out the video. It does mean the world to me. Please drop it a like on it if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if anybody is new. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.